And welcome to Flightdeck Live, powered by SportBuff. If you go to sportbuffshop.com and use the code Flightdeck10 at checkout, you will save 10% off. I'm Tim Capper, along with Cliffy D. Pine, as the Alouettes escape. That's what they did. Alouettes escape with a 38-22 win over the Calgary Stampeders, moved to 5-1 on the season, Cliff. It was, you need a drink? I need... I need one.
I assure you, ladies and gentlemen, this is not vodka in my glass, but goddamn, it may as well be because I feel like I just watched two games. And when you think about it, that's really what everybody did. We saw two different football games. The first half was pure dominance by the Montreal Alouettes against a very good Calgary Stampeders team. And let's not take anything away from what Calgary did. Despite the win, Calgary proved that they can definitely hang and they definitely belong in the conversation. That second half, though, was absolute dog crap for the Montreal Alouettes. Mm-hmm. Like, imagine blowing a 19-point lead. At halftime, it was 22-3. And the Alouettes truly let Calgary back into this game. Like they've been doing against other teams for the past, well, I feel like every game has been like that. Yes, they got the win. You know, they're 5-1. Absolutely fantastic. But the getting there is not half the fun in this case. It is a exercise in patience, I think, for Alouettes Nation to have to go through that. I mean, this team has, for the first time in a long time, it looked like they were dominant. They looked like they were in control. And then they just literally pissed it away. Like, if it wasn't for the fact that Calgary had fumbled, like that third and whatever it was, you know, that could have been it should have been a turnover on downs, essentially it was because he fumbled the ball and Najee Murray recovered it to essentially assure the Alouettes a victory. But mercy me.
Yeah, and Chris says it all. Phew, Mr. Thorpe, what the hell happened? First half was fun. I mean,
you know what though? Here's the problem. I get it. I understand, and believe me, Noel Thorpe has definitely been eating a lot of crap for how this defense has been playing. But Noel Thorpe's not the one out there trying to cause turnovers. He's not the one trying. Like, all he can do is give them the plays. If these guys can't execute, that's the problem. But again, it's one of those cases where someone's going to have to fall on the sword, and it may end up being Thorpe as opposed to the other 12 guys that are out there on defense. Because yikes, there's been far too many instances where this team has just looked so dominant in some circumstances and just absolutely putrid in others. And let's not forget, there was a time this defense was among the elite of this league, like the best of the best, the creme de la creme, if you will. This year, they've been getting by on the balls of their ass, and it has not been fun. I mean, and that's what I just cannot simply wrap my head around. And I'm sure everybody else now is realizing the same thing. It's like, what's going on with the Alouettes and their defense?
Yes, and Chris chimes in with another one. Calgary played a heck of a strategy in the second half. Well, with all honesty, and by the way, please chime in if you're watching. Please chime in. You can chime in on X, Facebook, or on YouTube. So I know what you guys think. I'm going to leave his chime in here, his comment, because let's put it this way: the Stamps in the second half, Cliff, outscored the Alouettes 29-16. 29-16. And people will go, Tim, the Alouettes that scored 22 points in the first half, and they're up by 19.5. Yeah, okay. But the problem is how it did. The Alouettes the Calgary Stampeders scored a touchdown in every single drive they had in the second half, less two. One on a it was a 2-and-out, and then on that last drive, which ended up in a fumble. Yeah. They couldn't stop them. The problem too is that somehow, some way, for some reason, the special teams on kickoffs was an absolute farce. Didn't matter who was back there. The last 3 kickoffs will put the Alouettes back so damn far, and then on top of it, it's a moot point now, but on the kickoff, the last kickoff that the Alouettes did after their touchdown to Ferdinand, it goes through the end zone it goes out to the 40. I hate that rule. And it's not just me in general. I hate a kick going through the end zone, going out to the 40. I really do.
Well, you shouldn't get a point for that, but at the same time, that's how it is now. Like I almost feel like Jose Matos Diaz forgot that that's a thing. Like I don't know if he really thought he can. It was interesting. I watched the game on RDS, and the commentators were talking about the fact that maybe Matos Diaz was trying to recuperate that point that he lost because he missed the point after the Ferdinand touchdown.
Yep.
Maybe he was trying to get that point back, but problem is, it doesn't work that way anymore. Like that has changed. Like I can't imagine Jose would have forgotten that all of a sudden. But I mean, how else do you explain it? Because I mean, he's a hell of a kicker. There's no question about that. But that was just ill-advised. Like what are you thinking, dude? Like you gave Calgary like a major gift, letting them start at their own 40. And of course, Vernon Adams proved positive that he's not doing anything wrong. I know there are times where you have good Vernon and bad Vernon. Today, he truly was good Vernon. Like even when he wasn't connecting, like it still wasn't because he was making poor decisions. I mean, he was just unlucky more than anything else in the first half. But once he got things figured out and got his offense rolling, he looked like the Vernon Adams that we had on the podcast. Just a guy who knows what the hell he's doing and is one of the best quarterbacks in this league without question. But yeah, this is such a weird feeling. I mean, yeah, Alouettes fans no doubt are happy. 5-1, great. But can you truly be happy about that win? Can you truly be like, yes, Alouettes won. That's great. Let's go. I wouldn't be as a Alouettes supporter. I'd be pissed. I mean, yes, okay, you got the win, but why does it have to be so hard? Why do you have to shoot yourself in the foot over and over again? And the team has even admitted at times they are want to do that. And for the life of me, I cannot figure out why.
That's funny. You say it to Denny's comment. That's hilarious. Just as he says it, Denny is 100% correct. And the problem is in that second half, many things from the kickoffs to the defense, you couldn't stop Mills. A 30-yard penalty on 2 penalties. Some stupid calls. You know what? I mean, okay. I know there are a lot of positives in the second half, and overall, in general, there were positives across the board, except for the defense in the second half. I mean,
without question.
Al's at halftime, and I fed I don't know if they said it on socials or if David Arsenault of RDS just put it out on social media, but I passed a thing to David. The Owls at halftime were up by 19. They were 45-0 in the regular season when they're up by 19. And
46 now.
I know. Yeah, I know. He put it out. Thank you, by the way. Thanks for giving me props. Greatly appreciated. And the game looked so good in the first half. But man, again, a lot of positives within this game itself. And let me just go ahead and I'll throw them out now, and then we can talk more. And please, everybody, please chime in. Obviously, Davis Alexander, not only did he get over 300, but he got over 400. In every game this year, he has over 300 yards, 300 plus yards. He set the CFO record for most consecutive passing attempts without an interception. He passed Darian Durant. He now leads. Yep. He now has that record. Travis Tice, first 100-yard game of his Alouettes career, of CFL career.
Tice, baby.
Yeah. Also, what else?
Cole Speaker making his return.
I was about to say Cole Speaker's return, and what a return! You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's And again, there were so many positives in itself, and the first half looked good, and I'm sure, I don't know if any other fans or supporters for Alouettes Nation were like, we got this one in the bag. I'm thinking, this is CFLP. We did a couple weeks ago where it was like 19 points or 13 points or whatever it was. Now that's not, that's a comeback. That's a collapse.
Mm-hmm.
No. This, despite the win, blowing a 22-point lead and a 19-point lead in the second half is a collapse. Bar none, it's a collapse.
Yeah, that is the literal definition of throwing up all over yourself. Like that is just, and again, it's wow.
Yeah,
like I said, this team offensively, little to no problems. I mean, they're just firing on all cylinders. Even like Davis Alexander just looks good. He looks great. Even, I mean, that's just what we come to expect out of him. A surprisingly quiet game from Tyson Philpott. I mean, he had a couple of nice catches and. Especially that one.
What the hell was that?
Yeah,
I mean, literal drops by Tyson Philpott.
Yeah, I kind of weird. I guess everybody's entitled to an off game, and I guess this was Tyson's. And who knows? Maybe it was just pressure of not just playing his brother again, but also too like the whole Philpott family apparently was at McMahon Stadium today or McMahon Stadium.
Yeah, I know. And by the way, it's funny to say Tyson has a bad game when he has 88 yards receiving.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny. Like for most people, that'd be amazing. But yeah, for Tyson Philpott, he's like, "Wow, you okay, dude? You hurt? Something wrong?"
What's funny? His first sub 100 games since week 1 in Hamilton. But if I do the math off quickly, I think he got over 800 yards. With his 88 yards, I think he surpassed 800 receiving yards on the year.
Again, nothing to sneeze at. There's no question about that. I mean, again, just a bad day at the office for Tyson. It happens. What are you going to do? I mean, and if that's the worst game he plays all year, I think Alouettes Nation will be very okay with that.
100%. 100%. Oh God, Cliff. How many games in are we? And Davis has already he's already eclipsed 2,100 passing yards.
Man, he's special.
I'm right.
There is no question.
I'm right with Tyson. Tyson is at 807.
All right. Again, so clearly the problems are not with the offense. I think we've established that. I think everybody would be in agreement that.
For once, yes. Yeah. 100%.
Special teams, I mean, they were doing good in the first half too. I mean, there was, nothing outstanding return-wise, but a couple decent efforts but the second half, it just kind of got away from them a little bit. But I mean, this defense, I mean, and I said it at halftime on X is that, yeah, everything looks great now, folks. I know you're excited, but you know what this team can be like in the second half. And sure enough, I said, you got to keep your foot on their throat. And the Alouettes not only took their foot off the throat, but they basically just let the Stampeders walk all over them, run all over them, everything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, give props to Vernon Adams. He did his darndest to make sure that the Stampeders were going to get the dub, and damn near did it. I mean, and quite frankly, if I'm this defensive core, I am thoroughly embarrassed. Yes, I know there's a ton of injuries. I realize that. I know there's a lot of guys that are just still trying to find their form a little bit, but there was a few instances though where just this defense just simply has to be better. Like Robert Kennedy had another pick in his hands and bounced it right out of them. Like just little things like that. You know what I mean?
Penalties. Stop taking dumb penalties. Yeah, again, the Alouettes had it was 10. Checking. The Alouettes had 9 for 106 today, and I think most of them were on the defense, if I remember correctly. Especially 30 yards on that basically on 2 plays. Well, one play, 2 plays.
Well, that was it. Here's the thing, though. I didn't feel like Nate Beauchemin caused the PI. I mean, he played him very close. I'm not going to deny that.
I thought it was over his head. Agreed.
I mean, But the roughing the passer call on Vernon, I mean, that was it's funny because they announced 44 had the penalty. And at first, I was like, wait a minute, Isaac was the one that was trying to. He didn't look that bad, but it was a bit of a push right into Guidry, number 44, who basically threw the elbow at Vernon's head, and you can't be doing that. Like, okay, that was a good call. I hate to say it, but that was a good call. But that was just heat of the moment kind of thing. Like, just kind of got away from you. Like, it just, again, yeah. But those two, like, one penalty, two 15-yard penalties, one on top of the other. Not ideal. Just lots of just miscues more than anything else. Like, I definitely don't think that was PI on Beauchemin. And
no, agreed.
You know, I guess ruling on the field. Saying, oh, by the way, did you know that Al Bradbury was the video judge?
Yes, I did.
Who's got a history of kind of going against the Alouettes just a little bit. Now, again, we're not making excuses. Obviously, I mean, had Calgary pulled out the win, they would have absolutely earned it. And I'm not going to say it's because Al Bradbury seems to have this hate on for the Alouettes. I mean, that's just bunk, quite frankly. But at the same time, you hear something like that, and you're like, maybe, just maybe that.
Well, also came down to Jose Maltos Diaz missing another extra point and really putting more grief into that last drive itself. That's the second time this year he's done that. By the way, to Denny's comment here, many positives with the offense, a lot of work to do on the defense and special units, 100%. Soft coverage at the end of the second and fourth quarters, trending from last year. Kickoffs, returns, coverage. Really, I mean, they only gave up 3 points. I think more or less it was the second half itself completely. I really do. And by the way, a real quick from Chris. But Davis is my MOP in my book, and that's coming from a guy where he has Justin Rankin on his team because he's an Elks fan, and then Hugo chiming in also.
Yep.
And it seems that most of the TSN panelists
really is. I mean, there's
the same thing too.
But
also
not wrong because Davis really is on another level without question.
Yeah. The other thing too. Okay, your head coach. You're backed up behind your 20. It's 3rd and 1. That's the other thing that put Calgary back into this game and it would have been the play of the game in my opinion. Short yardage play was a disaster from the beginning. I honestly think that the replay center got it wrong, but the only reason why I think they called it as is because they had no proof that Travis Tice got more yardage than what he did. That was ridiculous. I would have punted. In all honesty, I would have punted in that situation because I think most of the time, I think Coach Moss would have punted in that situation. But
I just think that was not the time nor the place to get cute when it comes to short yardage. I mean, you've got Dustin Crum, who's done a phenomenal job as far as I'm concerned. I keep saying this. I feel like a broken record saying this year after year, day after day, month after month. Just fall forward. We know Dustin Crum can do that. You're trying to play chess against yourself when you're trying to, especially so deep in your own end like that. Like, to me, that's like you get what you get in a play like that because, again, Calgary was able to recover, score a touchdown, and cut even further into the lead. And just that was completely unnecessary. I mean, just you got Dustin again. If you're going to go for it, which again, I approve of the idea of going for it 100% because again, you have Dustin Crum. But when I saw him go wide out to the end, I'm sitting there going, "What? Wait, what?" Like again, you're trying to get cute. It doesn't work. You know what? If you were up by 20 and you did that, okay, fine. Now you're flexing a little bit. But this was not the time. Like this is not Calgary is not the kind of team that you can pull this sort of nonsense off and expect it to work. I'm sorry. Again, nothing against Travis Tice because Travis did actually have a QB or I guess an RB sneak on his part earlier in the game. So obviously they thought, well, this will work. He does a good job doing that. But this was just out coaching yourself. Like this was blatant out coaching yourself in this instance. And you got to be better than that, especially with the score being so tenuous and just so deep in your own end.
Time. I agree. Denny has a comment here. Speaking of that turnover on downs, I have to go back and watch the play. He says there was an outrageous defensive offsides on the TOD by the Owls. They look at ball placement. Maybe that's not a reviewable play. Now, I thought, and I mentioned this to you in our chat during the game, I thought that all turnover on downs were looked at by the replay center. Why did Coach Moss have to toss a flag?
Maybe Al didn't get the memo on that.
I'll have to go back and watch that play.
Maybe he forgot. Maybe maybe he was unaware. Who knows? I mean, still, this shouldn't even be discussion. We shouldn't even be discussing this, quite frankly. Mm-hmm. I mean, I would have much rather Crum take the ball and get stymied and buried. And okay, you know what? Best effort. Sometimes it happens. I mean, it's not 3rd and 1 is not a guarantee, especially if you got even with a really good short yardage quarterback. Right. It's when you're doing this baloney that I have a hard time defending.
Yeah. By the way, just Debartman has chimed in too. Even Milt Stiegel is placing Montrose the top team right now. There's room for improvement on consistency, 100%. But winning is the ultimate thing that matters. Yes, well, fully agree with you. But it's just, again, the blown 22 and 19-point lead is an embarrassment. Now, again, it's nothing against VA, considering VA tied the league record for most touchdowns without an interception to start a season. He's now tied with Ricky Ray with 17, which is mind-blowing. And you talked about good, and we've had it before. We talked about good VA, bad VA, or Jekyll and Hyde VA, I think is what we said back in the day. Jekyll and Hyde VA. He's been good. He's been good this year. It's consistent. I mean, him and Davis Alexander, the only 2 quarterbacks who haven't thrown an interception this year.
That's impressive.
Again, everything. I mean, I expect the Alouettes to give up rushing yards. I do. But it was consistent. They just couldn't stop anything in the second half. Other than, the Alouettes. Alouettes are the first time, Cliff, and to me, this is a stat that I think that means a lot, is that the Alouettes for the first time in a long time had an opening drive touchdown in the same game. So first half and second half, which is huge. But the Alouettes defense in the second half, and this is where we've noticed when they've had large leads, and all of a sudden they let the other teams come back, or the other team comes back rather. Sorry, I think that's a better way of putting it. The last. What do we have? We're 5-1. So the last 5 of 6 games, the Alouettes have given up a touchdown to start the second half. You can't do that. We saw what happened with the Edmonton game and then blowing that lead. We saw what happened the week prior. You can't. Something's got. I understand that the Alouettes defense is really, really hurt. When we heard Mustafa Johnson, we don't know if he returned to the game today. Cliff, did you see him return? And we know that Ty Richards got hurt in the first half and did not return. And he's obviously a stalwart on special teams. So
big time. Yeah. So that's just it. And the tackling, it's funny. I felt like last week at home against Calgary, the tackling had improved vastly. I feel like Calgary got yards, but they had to fight for every yard. Here, they're back to the old tricks of thinking this is 2-hand touch. Like, just wrap up a guy. Like, how it's easy for me to say how hard it is. Maybe it really is. It is really hard to tackle in the CFL. I get that, especially against a guy like Dedrick Mills and some of these receivers that Calgary has. Like, these are some really tough dudes. But my God, you guys are supposed to be professionals, and I see this like half-assed tackling, and I'm just. Mm-hmm. I understand why everybody's pissed off at Thorpe, but at the same time, Thorpe's not the one out there kind of half-assing his job.
No. Special teams is a huge thing this week too. It can't be. It's not just not on the defense.
And going back to special teams, the return by Liam Talbot. I mean, that I understand he's a rookie, so I can't give him too much grief.
The 2 of them, horrible.
They were egregious. I just. I don't know if he lost the ball in the sun or what. I don't know, but geez,
that's what I kept wondering too, with Tyson dropping the ball and stuff like that. And I was wondering that also, Cliff. But I've been to McMahon at that time of the year, and it's on the other side of the stadium. It's not directly in the player's face. It's actually on the side where the stands are. So I don't know what side that is, but I mean, it's after seeing it last year in person. It's a sauna on that side of the field. But I agree. Let's hear quickly, or not quickly. Let's talk about the stats. I mean, again, there are positives. I mean, Davis Alexander Cliff was 25 of 32 for 402 yards and 3 touchdowns. It's been a while since DA put up 3 touchdowns, and again, no interceptions. He now owns that record to himself. Travis Tice, Cliff, 19 Absolutely. Attempts, 123 yards and a touchdown. Crum also had a touchdown. Tyler Snead, Cole Speaker, Kasim Ferdinand, by the way.
His first?
Yeah. I mean, Tyler Snead, 113 yards. He led the team on 7 receptions. Philpott had 88, Tice 49, Speaker had 73. And let's talk about the Ferdinand touchdown, because the Alouettes had just recently given up basically this almost the same type of play, Cliff, where the receiver was just wide open. The Owls defense had given it up to Jalen Philpott.
Yep.
So it's kind of an Uno reverse card, reverse card where it went back to the Alouettes. 2 plays on that drive. Kasim was there, got the ball low down from Davis, and then the touchdown pass where he was just wide open. That itself, I mean, and then of course, then Jose misses the extra point. Yeah.
Bit of a damper, especially for a young national receiver. I mean, again, obviously when it comes to national receiver for the Alouettes, it's the Tyson Philpott show all day long. But for Kasim to get in there, get some looks his way, I ain't mad at that. And good for the young man. I'm very happy for him to get his first tutty in the CFL. And yeah, for Jose Matos Diaz to brick the extra point is not ideal, because again, we've also talked about just how good he is. He really is.
Just by a little bit. It was by a lot of it.
And he had the wind at his back too. Like, what the hell? But maybe it just wasn't set right. Who knows? I mean, it happens. What are you going to do? But still, not ideal though, because again, had Calgary crossed the entire length of the field and scored that touchdown, that would have been they would have won the game by 1. But unfortunately, fumble and Najee Murray was Johnny on the spot right there, and that sealed the deal for the Alouettes. But
that's the third time. People need to remember that's the third time this year that the Alouettes, should have been third, where the Owls have won on a fumble. Obviously, they did not get the call in Edmonton. But, game 1 versus Hamilton, and then this game itself gave them the win.
Snatching victory from the jaws of defeat.
Yeah.
And I mean, you know what? And it's such an unfortunate narrative, too, because you want to talk about the resiliency of the Alouettes of never giving up or anything like that. But here's the problem. They've been dominant. They've been consistent. Like last week against Calgary at home, they didn't blow the lead. I mean, they just let Calgary back into the game, but they didn't blow the lead. Here, they blew the lead twice. Mm-hmm. And just barely escaped with victory. I mean, these are not things to be proud of, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, it's frustrating because, yes, 5-1, one of the best teams, if not the best team in the league, but they sure don't act like it sometimes. And that's the disheartening part. Like, I'm sure when the power rankings come out, I mean, depending on what, I know Montreal technically was number 1 last week, and they'll probably end up staying in number 1. But can we really say with certainty, like with 100%, with our full chest, can we truly say that this is the best football team in the Canadian Football League?
Yeah, hold on. Let me try. Hold on. I can't get my full chest into that.
Neither can I. I don't even want to try because I can't.
No,
I
and it's
can't.
not perfect. If they had continued throughout the second half, it would have been a perfect game, but it was not. And yes, I understand sometimes it's good to try to overcome adversity, but blowing this 22/19 point lead, this is a team, Cliff. This is a team that is currently averaging 34.7 points a game. Something we haven't done, if I remember correctly, from what I said on Flightdeck on the Alouettes Flightdeck pod this week, since 2011, and that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, again, there were a ton of positives in this game. Don't get me wrong. But I think Alouettes Nation should not be happy with it. It's funny to say not to be happy with a win. The Owls did end up going, Cliff, converting their second downs at a 57.9% clip.
Mm-hmm.
Calgary got back into it in the third quarter alone, and they ended up being at 52.6. I mean, this game was essentially a shootout. It was 515 total yards for the Alouettes, Cliff, 413 for Calgary. The Alouettes had almost 60 total offensive plays and averaged 8.7 yards a play.
And I said both these games were going to be shootouts because just of who the quarterbacks were. Like, I fully expect both Davis Alexander and Vernon Adams Jr. to put points on the board to sling it. And for the most part, yes, they did. But I couldn't even have imagined things going the way they did, especially too, like that first half. I understand why a lot of fans, I'm sure, were thinking, "Oh, we got this. This is the Alouettes team we know and love, and we expect them to be like." But unfortunately, the second half, Alouettes were the team we expect them to be like too, and that's not a compliment.
No.
Simply put,
no.
Defense, I don't know what it is. And you can blame injuries. You can blame poor decision making, lack of execution. I don't care. You can do any of these things, but at the end of the day, you got to get it together and keep it together. I think that's the thing. It's one thing to get it together, but I mean, you got to stay consistent and you got to, beyond a shadow of a doubt, prove that this is an elite defense. And right now, we're just simply not seeing that. They're just hanging on for dear life and hoping and praying that Davis Alexander and company bails them out because of their blunders. And that's no way to win. We want to talk about complementary football from all three aspects of it. Again, offense clearly doing their job. Special teams, by and large, are doing their job too, with a couple of hiccups along the way. But this defense, I mean, aside from the occasional awesome play here and there, they're just consistently. I won't say bad, but can I really say good either? Like, they're just consistent, and you can take that for what you will.
Yeah, exactly. And by the way, if anybody else has anything to chime in about, please do so. We are live. We want to hear what you have to say about the game itself. Again, X, Facebook, or on YouTube. Please chime in. It'd be greatly appreciated. We also like the stream. It does help more than people think these days. Not as much as it used to in the past, but do like if you're on YouTube, please do like. By the way, we're talking about this last week on last week's Flightdeck Live. Davis this week, yards per attempt, 12.6 yards.
Wasn't it you who was all concerned about how hurt he looked last week? How do you think?
Okay,
how did he look today?
I'm glad you brought that up. Finish your comment, and yes, I wanted to talk about that.
No. I was finished. I said I want to hear your thoughts.
Okay.
I think he looked okay.
Okay, we do know now after that happened last week that they changed the play calling. It was obvious, 100% obvious that they changed the play calling last week.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, this was a middle of the road play call for what Davis could do. Don't run as much. Stay in the pocket. He was somewhere in the middle this week. I don't think he was given full reign to do what he normally does, in my opinion. Nothing that I saw led me to believe that Davis is still hurt. But we all know, talked to over the years, we know that players play hurt. We know that. We know that.
Everybody
and unfortunately,
without question.
Unfortunately, the narrative now, and it was said multiple times during the broadcast, said, I think, during the TSN panel at halftime. I think Milt Stiegel said it specifically. He goes, if Davis is doing this at 70%, what do you think Davis could do if he was at 100%?
Yep.
So, in my opinion, and I think there was I think there was a level of the play calling that they put in place for him. He had a limit. There was a limit of what he could and could not do.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But to me, I think that's what it is. Davis isn't as bad as he was last year. Maybe it just was a tweak. Maybe they started doing something this time around. I don't know. I do not hope that they gave him something to potentially numb an issue. I hope that's not the case. And by the way, I'm not saying that was the case. This is just me talking.
That's fair.
I've said it many times over the past couple of weeks, Cliff, is that as the Alouettes will go as far as much as a healthy Davis Alexander will go.
That's without question. I do think it was very smart of him to get Travis Tice involved a lot more. And you saw that as well. Like, this offensive line responded in kind. They created lanes for Tice to rumble
19
through.
rushes. 19 attempts.
And I think a lot of that, I'm sure a lot of that was by design in order to take some of the heat off of Davis. So he doesn't have to be Superman and try to make, pull something out of nothing. I mean, he kind of did do that with that one spectacular throw to Tyson Philpott, basically out of the end zone. And if it wasn't for the goalpost, maybe we would have seen the entire thing. But
yes, I'm glad you brought that up. As soon as you finish, I'll comment on that.
But yeah, like, aside from plays like that, like, I mean, there wasn't as many because there didn't need to be as many, because I think Davis was and Anthony Calvillo, the play caller, realized, hey, we got a stud running back here. Why don't we put him to work? Put the workhorse to work. And sure enough, 19 carries, over 100 yards on the ground, and a tutty. I mean, not a bad strategy when you think about it, because again, everybody's going to be obviously paying attention to Tyson Philpott. They're going to be paying attention to Tyler Snead. And now with Cole Speaker back in the mix, that's just yet another weapon for Davis to consider. But all of a sudden, Travis Tice comes along and says, hey, I'm here too. I can do stuff. And sure enough, he did. He did quite a bit today. He had himself a hell of a game today.
100%. And as we just showed with Denny, I mean, didn't seem limited to, yes, I will take that as a positive, as he said too. I think the game plan was tweaked slightly for Davis. But talking about that, and I joke with you on social, on our chat. I put it out on social because I had to, because, hey, I'm glad TSN actually posted it on social media. But I really do think on that play that the goalpost should have gotten an assist on that throw. I really do, because obviously if this was 2027, that wouldn't be a thing. I wouldn't be there to help him, and Davis could have been sacked. He would have been sacked for a safety, in my opinion. He would have been sacked. So,
100%.
do
we really want to change that?
Yeah, sign him up. Sign him up. Give him a bonus. Whatever you want to do.
Maybe he should get the Budweiser Player of the Game.
Here we go. I was about to say, so in goalposts we trust.
Don't you dare move them, Stuart Johnson. Don't you dare.
It's going to happen anyways. Yeah. So, again, okay. First half, fantastic. And again, all this, we're talking about the stuff, and I know a lot of people may say, well, it's all on the defense and all on Noel Thorpe. No. The special teams was an absolute atrocious in the second half too. Mm-hmm. Again, yes, the Owls really they stopped 2 drives in the second half. The others were all touchdowns. You can't have that happening. But then again, you got VA with what he was doing. VA played a hell of a game despite him throwing for less than 300 yards, but yet he threw for 3 touchdowns. And they took advantage of what they needed to. So,
and let's not forget that, as I said last week on Flightdeck Live too, this isn't like a bunch of stiffs that the Alouettes are playing there. Calgary is a very, very good football team. That's why I keep stressing you cannot let teams like that hang around, because if you give them an inch, they'll take a friggin' yard. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what happened today. The Alouettes truly took their foot off the gas. They almost felt like they went into prevent defense at the start of the second half. To let a team like Calgary hang around, it damn near cost them. And save for a couple of timely things here and there, we could be talking about a different story. We could be watching it. We talk about how this Alouettes team blundered, pissed away a loss. Mm-hmm. Thankfully, we're talking about a win. And as I said, a win's a win. Absolutely. They don't care how. They care by how many. But once again, tale of two different teams. Like the first half Alouettes are fan-friggin-tastic. They are a top-tier team, 100%. The second half Alouettes are just proof positive that sometimes it truly is better to be lucky than good. And that's really what it came down to, was being lucky to win against Calgary twice. When you think about it, sweeping that series is no small feat. Victories against the West are so crucial right now. Again, I know Montreal, especially in the Eastern Division right now, because Toronto, Hamilton, Ottawa, not looking their best. They all have their own particular woes here and there. But, I mean, Montreal can't afford even the simplest of defeats or weaknesses or anything like that. Like, you got to show that truly that you are what you say you are. And yes, arguably they are the top team in this league, but they just got to start showing it a lot more often, not just in the first half of a football game.
Yeah. By the way, real quick, I thought you just said syphilis, but you said simplest.
I mean, getting screwed one way or another, right?
Oh, there we go. By the way, the Alouettes have not lost to the Stampeders have not lost to the Stampeders in the last 4 seasons. They have won this. They have swept the Stamps the last 3 of 4 years. The only thing that did it was the tie a couple years ago. But they have not. They have dominated the Stamps over the last 4 seasons, which is good because we know sometimes how badly the Owls can play out west. We'll see what happens when we come to the BC game. We'll talk about that later.
Well, I think a lot's going to depend though on what happened with Nathan Rourke last night. Mm-hmm. I mean, we still don't know the severity of that injury. I mean, a lot could happen between now and September when the Alouettes do go out to BC, but I'm not ready to declare that victory. I will never be ready to declare a victory at BC Place. And that's the thing. They're playing at BC Place. It's not a game in Kelowna where there might be a chance the Alouettes could win because they're not playing at BC Place. No, this is 100% a game at BC Place. I mean, we'll see what happens, obviously, but going out west sometimes can be a bit of a crapshoot for the Alouettes. I mean, depending on the team, depending on who, which version of that team they're playing. But as you said, this to be so dominant or successful, I should say, not so dominant, but successful against the Calgary Stampeders is no small feat. But
yeah,
I mean, it's not like 13 straight wins over the Ottawa Red Blacks kind of dominant. Like that, to me, I feel is dominant.
That's dominant. Yeah. Only 1 sack tonight for the Alouettes. It does break their 2-game streak of 3 with 3 in a row. It was by Wise. And that was only in the first half, by the way. Plus, the Alouettes had a grand total of 4 knockdowns. Most of them were in the second half. And they came at times when they really needed to have them because they did start batting away balls from Vernon Adams.
Yep.
Again, we had the dominant thing last week with Perales. We had such a dominant game. He goes on the 6th game with an abductor. You know what I mean? And we also, who else did we lose? We also lost. I had
Oh,
to check. Who else did we
Don
lose?
Callis.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. So we did lose some players to the 6th game this week.
And again, this is where your depth is going to be tested time and time again. But now you have to wonder: is Danny Machocha going to get on the phone and start making some calls? Because I mean, this defense, as we've talked about, they've got flashes of brilliance this year, but by and large, something's not working. I refuse to believe it's a matter of what Coach Thorpe is doing. I mean,
yeah,
he's got to bear some of the brunt. Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, as I keep saying, he's not the one trying to execute the plays. It's the other guys that aren't, and for whatever reason, at this point, do you start looking maybe outside? Like, you start looking beyond the roster that you have, your practice roster and whatnot? Do you start thinking maybe you need to bring somebody in that can help shore things up just a little bit? I think now maybe that's, especially with all these injuries that are starting to pile up defensively. I mean, we've got some real studs that are out on the 6-game list as well defensively. So maybe Danny gets on the horn and starts looking for talent.
Yeah, Don Callis and Perales were both placed on the 6th game.
Mm-hmm.
So, and look at the names on defense, Cliff, that we have on right now: Don Callis, Gabriel Lessard, and David Perales. Luckily, that's all that is, but it's a lot of, Kabian Ento was still in the 1 game. I think we talked to him last week. He's from what we're understanding, he's like this close to coming back. I don't want to call it a patchwork defense because it really isn't. But as you said at the top of the show, Cliff, it's a different defense. It's a different defense. It really is. And what's funny, you watch, speaking of defense and how it was, you look at the game, the BC game yesterday. Darnell Sankey he was some plays, but I don't think Darnell Sankey was the dominant force that he was last year here in Montreal. Maybe it may be the type of system.
Could be.
Am I saying that we would be any better if we still had him on defense? Not necessarily. But
it wouldn't hurt.
No, it wouldn't hurt. But you know what? It's funny. It's very rare over the last couple of years, Cliff, for us to say that the offense has been exponentially better than the defense. It's been so many years since we've been able to say that, even despite having, Trevor Harris, despite having Cody Fajardo. You know what I mean? It's always been something. The defense has always been there. It's just a matter of what we've got to do now. What does the team have to do now in order to make sure that, yes, we seem to be the cardiac kids again, but I would love to have, and it's good to watch. I will admit, it's good to watch. It's good football. But, man, I would love to have a game where we win by more than 10. I'd like that. I really would. And that was the case. It almost was the case tonight, but, a good team. Good team of the Calgary. Calgary Stampeders came back to do, to take advantage of what they needed to do in the second half, and they almost pulled it off.
You look at the Saskatchewan Roughriders, they lost a lot of key defensive pieces that helped them win the Grey Cup last year. And I don't feel like they've missed a beat, quite frankly. I think they're, like the Alouettes, among the top teams this year. And it's not because they're doing anything fantastic on offense. I mean, Trevor Harris is Trevor Harris. He's doing the thing, whether you like him or not. But defensively, the Roughriders are, they don't look out of place whatsoever defensively. Now, yes, they've been playing. They've had the fortune of playing some less than stellar teams. They played Ottawa. They played Hamilton without Bo Levi Mitchell. But this defense of Saskatchewan's, they've been able to replace a lot of these guys too, like a lot of these all-star caliber guys, without missing a beat. So, that tells me that their scheme clearly works and they can almost plug and play anybody in there. I would have said the same thing about Noel Thorpe earlier, but at the same time, I think this is truly a case of, okay, you can show guys how to do something. They still have to do it. So that's why I'm always very reluctant to say, well, Thorpe sucks and he's not doing it right, or his message is getting lost. I really do think it comes down to execution. I really do think these guys are very talented defensive players on the Montreal Alouettes, but some of them just, again, whether it's inexperience in the system or just that cohesiveness is lacking for whatever reason. I mean, a lot of these guys did not forget how to play football. You look at Wesley Sutton, you look at Lorenzo Burns. I mean, these are guys that play absolutely phenomenal football, but a lot of these new guys, for whatever reason, it's just not gelling just yet. And we've talked about this in the past as well, about some of these guys just not able to figure it out initially, but once they do, look out. But I mean, I would never think
Burns trying to play WWE tonight didn't help.
I mean, welcome to Suplex City, right? Just Calgary to Suplex City. Jeez Louise.
It wasn't warranted. It was not warranted.
No. But that's, once again, we know he's better than that. That's not his style of play. But I think it just got away from him just a little bit. And unfortunately, referee happened to see it. And you can't be doing that, folks. You can't be suplexing people. I mean, that's just...
What do you mean that just so happened that the referee saw it? It was on TV. Everybody saw it. If there hadn't been a flag, I would have wondered.
True. But all this to say, like, these are guys that know how to play football for the most part. Like the veteran guys that we've talked about in the past. Like, we talked about how Lorenzo Burns was having a hard time until he got it figured out. Wesley Sutton, KB Nento, and so on. It just feels like the vast majority of this defense is now in that same category of, once they get it figured out, they're going to be awesome, but they're still getting it figured out, it feels like. So,
yeah. Owls give up 20 or more points in the fourth quarter for the first time since the game at Edmonton last year. So it's not uncommon, but I think they won that game at Edmonton last year too, by the way. But again, as you said at the top of the show, two different games. Two different halves, as it seemed like two different games. You know, the Owls win the first one, and then they would have lost the second game, so to speak. If they couldn't stop in the second half. They got a lot of work to do, despite who they have coming up. Because even as Denise says, Hamilton and Ottawa next. We need 2 solid games against 2 quote unquote average teams. Yes. And again, I mean,
the Alouettes have played those two teams already and just barely escaped with victory. So, I mean,
different team, though. Different team in week 1. You and I both know this now. Different team for Hamilton in week 1. Yeah.
Again, we don't know what Trey Ford can do. We don't know if it's going to be Jake Delagallo, or now they've signed Harrison Frost. I mean, maybe they get it figured out. Who knows? I mean, you're right. Hamilton right now is a complete crapshoot. Ottawa. I mean,
did you say Calgary?
Calgary, yes. The Calgary Stampeders. Should it? Trying to make a point here.
I know you are. Sorry.
Okay. All this to say, yes, I'm sure that this team can ill afford to look past either of these teams, regardless of what their current position is right now. I mean, if Hamilton can get it figured out with whoever is going to be replacing Bo Levi Mitchell, they're still a dangerous team. They still have Kenny Lawler. They still have Keandre Smith. They still have some very potent weapons on that Hamilton Tiger Cats team. Ottawa, I mean, it would almost be poetic for MBT to have to come into the game and try to beat the Alouettes, but you never know in this league, right? So I don't think this Alouettes team, despite saying that they swept Calgary, they can ill afford to take anybody lightly at this point. Especially if you can just barely pull out a win, you really can afford to take anybody in the Canadian Football League lightly, regardless of what their record says.
100%. By the way, if you missed any part of the broadcast tonight, you can find the archive on X, Facebook, or on YouTube. Speaking of YouTube, make sure you do like us. Do hit the bell button so you know that when we do go live, whether it be a Flightdeck Live or with new episodes, kind of like what we did this week with the second episode of the Outside the Nest series with Vernon Adams. We had Vernon Adams on, and we had the teaser for during the show this week on Wednesday on the Alouettes Flight Deck. But if you haven't listened, make sure you do listen. Everything, including this show, for Flight Deck Live is available on the full video version, or it will be available on audio.
It's kind of funny, Tim. I was just actually thinking during the game too. Could this be the first time where podcast karma isn't a thing? And it almost became, because we had Cody on for the first Outside the Nest interview, and look what happened there.
Yeah.
And Vernon came this close to making it 2 for 2. So maybe we just got to be. Maybe we shouldn't have quarterbacks on, like former Alouette quarterbacks on, as far as guests for outside the nest.
Yep. CJ chimes in. Love hearing from you, bud. I don't mind if you write a book or not. Good evening, Tim and Cliff. Damn, what a close game. But we came away with the win. Congratulations to DA on his record. And congratulations to Kasim Ferdinand on his first career touchdown. Well done to Hickson by forcing the Calgary breakaway fumble. And to Murray for the 13-second recovery. Also, welcome back to Cole Speaker, who played an excellent game. Credit to the whole team. Well done. Go, Owls, go.
Well, you're not wrong, CJ, in a lot of things. It's, I mean, like I said, a little too close for my liking, but I guess really, truly a win's a win. So be happy about that. I get it. I can understand that sentiment. And for the most part, I do agree with that. It's just for one game. I'd like to see one game where the Alouettes just curb stomp somebody for a change. Mm-hmm. Just a flat out dominant victory, start to finish. You just belt to ass. And if we could ever see that, that'd be phenomenal. But I just don't know if this Alouettes team is capable of doing that now or maybe even later on down in the season. Who knows? But it would just be nice for once not to feel like, oh man, they're gonna blow it. They're gonna blow it. Like I would just love to see a complete and utter victory. And I'm sure we will. I'm sure Alouettes Nation is going to see that sooner rather than later. But again, instances like this, it just takes a toll. And I'm sure even the team's got to be feeling themselves too. Just be like, what the heck? What do we got to do to get like a honest to goodness win around here?
That's why I needed the drink after. I'm honestly, my hands are like this afterwards. Because I love close football. I love close football. But man, sometimes, I mean, I guess this is the thing. Is this a return to the cardiac kids? So far, it really is. You know, just by looking at despite their record and what their plus minus is on the year. You know what I mean? And despite how close a lot of these wins are in the CFL this year, you know, +2. And again, I'm going to remind everybody again, you know, even before the Toronto game started tonight and Chad Kelly starting, Davis Alexander was already past the 2,000 yard mark 6 games in. Tyson Philpott, by the way, he's up to 50 receptions, by the way, Cliff. Who's number 2? The need for Snead. He's up for 2. Tyson already has 807 yards. And currently Tyler Snead is second with 583. And as you said, it's not the offense that is the problem for the first time in a long time for the Owls. It's the inconsistency of the defense this year. And now, as we're seeing too, potentially a little bit with the special teams, because despite who we have behind, returning the balls, we're not doing very well when it comes to returns, whether it be on kickoffs or on punt returns.
No, I keep saying I'm waiting for Murray Alford to break one off, but
I don't want to wait to Thanksgiving.
A long time. No, I mean, again, I guess we've had such big expectations, especially you bring in Devontae Dedmon. Unfortunately, he came in injured or
he's close.
Got injured.
Supposedly, he's close, by the way. Even though he practiced all week this week, he just may not just be there. So that's, you know, kind of similar to what Cole Speaker waited that one extra week with Cole. So maybe Devontae will be available for next week's game versus Hamilton.
And then the game after that against his former team in Ottawa.
Mm-hmm.
I tell you what, that wouldn't be a bad thing to see Devontae Dedmon go off against his former Red Blacks team. But he's got to be healthy. He's got to be ready to go. So hopefully you're right. I hope that he is just that much closer to being back. And like Cole Speaker today, comes back and blows the doors off everybody. Goes back to being who we expect him to be. So, and we got some pretty good expectations from Devontae Dedmon. I mean, he was an Alouettes killer during his time in Ottawa.
Mm-hmm.
Like he would torch his team quite a bit for touchdowns. So it would be great to see him do that now for the Alouettes as opposed to against the Alouettes. So here's hoping that he's if he's at 90%, let's hope he can get to that 10%, if not by Hamilton, at least before the game in Ottawa.
Yeah. We will have a show this Wednesday, talking a little bit more about the game itself and any other news. We're thinking bringing in another. We're seeing what happens when it comes to bringing in a guest. So stay tuned for that. Cliff, this game again literally was this close. Time of possession tonight was 32 minutes and 1 second for the Alouettes, 27:59 for the Stampeders. Almost pulled it off. Total rushing yards total was 135 for the Alouettes, 152 for Calgary. And I will admit, the Stamps dominated the third quarter. By the way, that's one of the things I wanted to bring up. Mind blown. 2 scoring drives in the third quarter, right?
Mm-hmm.
Basically, it was 1 drive each, less Calgary leading into the fourth. That's mind blowing. You don't think of that stuff, especially in the CFL.
No. Time of possession means an awful lot in this league. And for both Calgary and Montreal to basically occupy with a respective drive, a respective touchdown drive in that third quarter is something you just don't see very often, but kind of wild.
I'm looking up right now. Third quarter. Owls held the ball for 7:09. Calgary held the ball for 7:51. One drive.
Close to even. That's as close to even as you're going to get, I think. That's insane.
Yeah, completely. Anything else you want to bring up, Bud, before we finish the show? Like I said, I know we have
some stuff for Wednesday, don't we?
Yeah, we got to save stuff up. But we all, giving our viewers and our fans an hour while we're at our home studios is kind of, we feel you guys are worth it. We would love to do a longer show at Percival Molson, but they keep turning the lights off on us.
Jerks.
By the way, shout out to
rude.
Pascal. Shout out to Pascal for the great, candid behind-the-scene photos from us from last week. Greatly appreciated. I've always said to you, Cliff, those candid photos where you don't know they're being taken are always seem the best type of photos.
So, agreed. And if you folks haven't seen them, by all means, definitely check it out on our socials. I think we put them just about everywhere. So very cool. So definitely appreciate getting a nice little gift like that from our basically a team photographer. When you think about it, like he's there to do a job. Like he's there to cover the Alouettes. And for him to snap a few photos of us just doing our thing, that's pretty damn cool. So once again, thank you very much. And folks, by all means, check them out. I mean, I think it's neat. I know Tim thinks it's neat cool as well. So
I'm making you a print. You just got to tell me of which one you want. But I'll make you a print. So.
Oh, there you go.
But yeah. So any last words, buddy, before we finish, and let everybody, if they want to watch the rest of the game, the Hamilton Tiger Cat and Toronto Argonauts, if they want to, or if they just want to finish their Saturday evening. Anything else you want to bring up?
Oh, listen, I said it before and I'll say it again. This is truly a fun team to watch at the best of times, but I really just want to see this Montreal Alouettes team be as dominant as I feel they can be. And I think there's times where they are, but there's times when they're not. And it's frustrating because it's not like it's any one thing. So I would just love to see this team really, truly put it together, have a complete game from start to finish where there's no urgency. There's no, like I said, this Cardiac Kids thing was cute when they were like a bunch of scrubs that nobody gave snowballs chance in Helen. But this is truly a team that people expect to be in the Grey Cup this year. And when they don't play like it, that's the part that I find concerning. And I would just like for once to see this team put together a win from start to finish, complete dominance, and just show that they truly are who they say they are. So thought it was going to happen today. It didn't, but they did get the win. They're 5-1, and fans can't be too upset about that when it's all said and done. But me personally, I would just like to see just a little bit more of that dominance that I think this team is truly capable of. And I'll leave it at that.
100%. 100%. All right. So we will talk to you guys on Wednesday. And we really appreciate everybody who's shown up this week. So for the final time here On Flight Deck Live for Cliffy D, I'm Tim Capper. We'll talk to you soon.